Hey everyone, NKC here. Welcome to TensorFlow Fundamentals. This is very exciting, right? So I opened up my web browser. This is the tool we are going to be using. Basically, the entire course is designed on Google Colab. If you are unfamiliar with Google Colab, check out the Colab overview video, or if you just go to collaborateresearch.google.com, you can go to examples tab here and you can open a whole bunch of different tutorials to go through and learn about Google Colab. If you are just starting out, I would check out overview of collaboratory features or the markdown guide. But as I said, if you want another overview, check out the overview video because we are going to be using Colab a whole bunch throughout this course. So let's get started. I'm going to open a new notebook here because we are going to, I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm rubbing my hands together because I'm so excited we are going to get hands-on with TensorFlow. Some of the most fundamental functions in TensorFlow, and let's give our notebook a title here. So TensorFlow Fundamentals NKC. Okay. And we are going to, by the end of this course, have probably 10 or of this notebook. So, and now let's put in here this notebook. We are going to cover some of the most fundamental concepts of tensors using TensorFlow. Beautiful, right? And we can put a little hashtag at the front. And then what I did, there was I did command MB and turned it into a markdown cell. And then off I pressed Shift and Enter. We get another code cell here. Beautiful. So to enable us to write code, we are going to connect here. To just press connect at it. And let's get a little outline of what we are actually going to do. So more specifically, this is what I do with most of my notebooks whenever I come to something before writing code. You are going to hear me say write as much as possible, but I just like to give myself a little bit of outline so I know the directions where I am heading. So we are going to cover what we have is introduction to sensors. We might also get some information from sensors. If nothing of this makes sense, don't worry. We are going to cut it by hand. Manipulating tensors, so changing the information that's stored within tensors. And then we are going to tensors and NumPy. If you ever use NumPy tends to a TensorFlow, you will find very similar features by using ADFP functions, which is a way to speed up your regular Python functions in TensorFlow. Because remember, the whole premise of using TensorFlow is that we can use the GPU of TensorFlow, or to use we used to do fast numerical computing too. That's what we are going after here. And at the end, we are going to have few exercises to try for yourself, and the solution will be given in the following tutorial. I'm going to put another little heading here, Introduction to Tensor. So the first thing to do is to use TensorFlow, and which is that we have to import TensorFlow. Now I want you to try and follow along as much as you can with these videos, right? When I am writing code, I want you to be writing code by my side. It's like a partner code is, and so again I have felt of wrong. Let me correct it. If you need to slow down the video or watch something again, that's perfectly fine. I'm probably going to need to slow down my code so I don't write as many typos. So this is how we are going to import TensorFlow. Becomes the alias TF in Python. TF is basically universal. You can pull it as what you want, but you trust me, and I'm going to print tf.double_version here to check what version of TensorFlow we are using. If you are using Google Colab, you should probably using TensorFlow 2 point something. I'm currently using 2.5.0. By the time you watch this video, maybe a newer version of TensorFlow. But everything that we do in this fundamental notebook should work perfectly fine. So look at that. We have already got a TensorFlow ready to go. Now let's jump in and create our first tensor, creating tensor with TF constant. Now you are going to say there's a few different ways to create tensors, but in general you actually probably won't create many tensors yourself. This is because TensorFlow has many built-in modules as you get familiar with throughout this course, such as today. And to data which are able to read in your data sources, such as if you had a whole bunch of different images and automatically convert them into tensors as long as you write the code for that is, and then later on our neural network models will process these tensors first. But for now we want to get familiar with tensors themselves. So let's start creating tensors. And what I have written here is the word scalar, which you might not be familiar with for now, but that's right. We will learn what that is. Beautiful. So when we create a tensor with top constant, we get this. We written this and says to Potenza it has shape that empty. The data type is int32 and in no high this value is 7. So again NumPy TensorFlow or pipe intertwining. Now if you want to get the information of the string for what this function is in Google Colab, you can press Command Shift space. If we just wanted to search TensorFlow or TF constant, that is what I want you to really get familiar with. It's just searching up something like this and then going into documentation. Take constant, yes, create a tensor and a constant tensor. From a tensor, a like object, right? And then we go here. For example, use cases so oftentimes if I am not familiar with something intensive, so I will just search it up like this. I will find the example code here and then I will just rewrite that code in notebook. But let's keep going, let's keep writing, alright? How about we check the number of dimensions of a tensor? This is another important concept that we are going to get familiar with. As we go along to the end game stands a number of dimensions. You might be wondering what and then we have what scalar and ending. Number of dimensions, so 0. Number of dimensions, what does that mean actually? Well, let's keep going. We will come back to that in a second. How about we create a vector? So we have got a red word here. You might not be familiar with scalar. Now under word you are going to come across quite often in deep learning what is vector. So let's see what they are. Again, this is the structure of what I want to go through is write the code first and then go through the concept or the concept code, concept vector. Let's see how these two differ. We have a scalar, which is area of tensor has pipe, which is black data in 32, down by 7 actually. Now we created a vector here and now we posted a Python list to TF constant, which is a tensor purity query. Maybe that's because there was 2 items or 2 objects within this list. The data types is in 2 or the NumPy array version is 1010. So the same has this and the data type is in 32 for the entire version. Okay, alright. Now what about if we check dimensions of our vector? So we go vector dot and then what do you think it will be? Okay, 1. So that is because the shape is empty, maybe 0. come from that, and this shape has one element. So maybe the dimensions came from that. Let's keep going. Create a matrix. So a matrix has more than one dimension, right? Again, if these types are unfamiliar for now, we are going to get very familiar as we go along. So matrix, we want to go 10, 7, and then 7, 10 to my favorite numbers. You ever played poker? My favorite hand is 10, 7 matrix. Let's see what this is. Okay, tensor shape equal to 2, 2 does that make sense to comma 2 items here, okay? Yeah, that makes sense. So these are integers and the NumPy version is just the same thing here. A data type of int 32. Wonderful. Now before I write code, I want you to have a think if we write a matrix dot and then if the vector has a dimension or a number of dimensions has 1, if a scalar has a number of dimensions has 0, what do you think the matrix will be? 3 to 1? Boom. Okay, I'm starting to see numbers of elements in shape is starting to relate. That's where I'm drawing my own pattern between them. Alright, now let's create another matrix. But this time we are going to try out. How about we try and specify the data type? So if we go here, D type, that's what we want to try and use. So let's try and do that. Create another matrix. Now another matrix equals, how can we do this to constant? What do we want to put in? What are your favorite numbers? I'm going to do my favorite numbers again, 10.7. Oh, you might have noticed something different about this one already. So we have a dot after our numbers, right? And if you are writing in Python code, what does a dot typically mean after an integer? And 8 and 9. That's very nice and simple. And then what did we say we were going to do? We are going to use a dtype parameter followed by 16. Float 16. So we are going to specify the data type with type parameter. Now the reason I'm getting you familiar with the details or detailed parameter is because by default if we create a tensor with the total constant, we get the data type is in 32. So this is known as 32-bit precision. So if we go here, 32-bit precision, which is a quite not talk too deep into that. The concept is the higher the number of precision, the more exact these numbers are stored on your computer. So if we do float 16, it's a lower number than 32. So that means storing these numbers or storing this tensor on our computer memory is going to take up less space. The reason I am getting you familiar with this, because if you get a data type error in future of your tensors being wrong data type, you can manipulate them using D type parameter. Okay, so let's have a look here on the matrix. What does this come about? There we go. Tensor, the shape is 3 by 2. Okay, so this is row columns. So we have 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, and because we specify the data type is float 16, we get data type float 16, which makes sense. And our integers have a dot after, so that actually floats 10. And the same matrix goes no version of our tensor matrix. So what do you think the number of dimensions is of the matrix? So if we come back up here, what was our number of dimensions of our matrix here? And our vector and our scalar, we have just created another matrix. If we were to go another matrix, and then what do you think the output would be based on, well, let's find out. It's still so even through the shape here is different. The total number of dimensions, which is the element, I'm really starting to notice a pattern here. The total number of dimensions is how many elements is in the shape. Okay, I have got that down. However, why don't we have or increase this number of dimensions, and how we can do that? Let's create a tensor. So typically, which is a nomenclature, a scalar will have no dimensions effect. It will have one dimension. A matrix will have two dimensions, and a tensor will have we will see what that has. Let's go. The answer can't reveal all my tricks before we try and cut them out. Remember, if in doubt, cut it out. Now to create these, you're going to have to get pretty fancy with where you put your commas. Okay. So while I'm creating this, if you're finding that it's like Daniel, I can't really follow along. That's okay. Just wait till I'm finished here. Watch what I'm doing, and then you can pause a video, replicate what I have got, and then we will run it together. Alright? And this one has to have two. I see how Teddy is creating tensors from like wash your hands. I mean, this is why it's so helpful for Densify to create tensors fast. As we will see in future modules, hopefully I have got all these little square brackets and commas in right place. So if we look at our tensor shift and enter what it's going to output, we have how many more elements in that shape? We have an extra one. Okay, so that's 3. So 1, 2, 3, S2. So 1, 2 and then 3 again. 1, 2, 3, which are beautiful. Now if we wanted to check the number of dimensions of this particular tensor, what do you think it would be? I think you might know this tends to NN. It's 3 dimensions. Wonderful, right? Now the most important thing to note is that although we have given these different names, tensor matrix, vector, scalar, is that all of these tensor flow throughout the entire codes, we are basically going to continually refer to these, no matter if they are 3-dimensional tensor or if they are 2-dimensional tensor, which is a matrix, we are going to constantly refer them as tensors. So if you're getting confused when I say matrix or tensors, changes are it's the same thing throughout this course. Okay?
We'll see you then.